recording. I know we're all super excited about this of your new favorite podcast, Beers on Heads podcast. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to give a little intro to everybody and explain what's going on and what you're going to be listening to for the rest of your life. I'll start it out right now, Pete Roulier, but from now on, from this point forward, when you're referring to me on the Beers and Head podcast, this is new to these guys too. My name is Pete Podcast. I'm no longer Pete Roulier when I get into this realm. I'm Pete Podcast because I'm determined that this is going to be amazing. So let's start off with my guy, JJ. Let's tell them a little bit of story about yourself and like where you came from.
So I think, a lot of people, I feel like we share like a lot of mutual followers. So I think all of us, like they all kind of know, but ran Barstool, Arkansas for a magical 3 years. We lifted it from the ground to the penthouse. Everyone's favorite anonymous account. Definitely didn't keep me humble. And then retired from Barstool, Arkansas last week. And the fame definitely last week. We're fresh off at my follower count on my personal account, went up 2,100 followers. I'm not humble anymore. And I have like a makeup trailer now. I literally did makeup for this. So to say the fame's getting to my head would be a gross understatement.
And with the famous eye roll over here, our boy Sneed. Sneed, what's up, man?
How y'all?
Doing good, brother. Are we going by William or Sneed? What's the move?
I was, for the sake of the pod, if we're picking names, just Sneed Feed. That's what
Sneed
I'm known
Feed.
by.
I like Sneed Feed. Yeah. Don't give him that face, JJ. Let him be himself.
Oh, Jake. I mean, come on. You're JJ's
I'm not going by Chief Culture Officer.
No, you're JJ, and we got Sneed Feed over here. And so let's talk a little bit about how this all started, because I believe that our first real meeting about this whole thing was in January, right? Or was it December?
It was January. It was right after that when me and Will went to Oxford for that away basketball game. You actually messaged us like that night.
Yeah, so I've been following Will for a long time because when I was still in college, I remember Arkansas was playing Missouri State in a regional, and Sneed Feed tweeted out that he had some free tickets. I think maybe John Neighbors retweeted you, and I was working for Bill Mattingly at the time, and I was like, hey man, I couldn't find any tickets anywhere, so you hooked me up with some free tickets. I've been following you ever since. And you kind of tweeted out that you were in Oxford, and I kind of put it together because Barstool, Arkansas was doing the same thing, and you guys were talking that like Oxford had the best shrimp and grits in the world or something like that. And I was like, y'all two are funny. I was ready to take a step in the podcast direction away from this professional life I has as like a journalist. So I wanted to jump into this world, and I thought you two were perfect for it. Met at JJ's, had a few drinks, a couple, and decided we were going to do this. But
we hopped over to the Gastanos after that too.
We did.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, the $1 drinks were pouring that night.
$1 big beers.
And when I tell you that like we were all in. But some things hit the fan. But 3 months later, basically after JJ said that he was done with Barstool, Arkansas, it was time for him to do something on his own. I was like, let's do it. This is the time to do it. So we're really excited.
I reached out
JJ,
to you about that.
Yeah, I think you did. I'm on.
You're like, oh, okay.
No, I wasn't like, okay. I've been wanting to do this for a while. So, JJ, what's your vision for this whole thing, man?
So I wrote a short little blog about it a few days ago, but I honestly, I do not think, especially once we really get this rolling, I don't think that anyone else can bring what we can bring, especially in the South. I think there's a huge hole as far as Southern media, like podcasts in general. I don't think there's really anything, at least in our age group, that people provide. So I see this, honestly, starting as, maybe Arkansas centric, possibly. Right now, there's not a whole lot, so it's easier to not be Arkansas centric. But I honestly think there's a foot in the door for us to really take this off. We each have like a very solid following now that I caught up to you guys. And I think that we have enough backing right now to really get this off the ground quickly and become honestly like a Southern regional podcast.
And we're all a little bit different. We all bring something different to the table. That's just great. So I would want Sneed Feed to take this question, but this is more of a JJ question as well. So, how do we come up with the name Beers on Heads podcast for people that don't know?
Yeah, so Beers on Heads is a lifestyle. It's a choice. It started again like I'm
This is like
serious.
true life.
It's
This is like true life. It's a lifestyle. It's a choice.
It started one day in Baum Stadium. There was I think it was the Missouri State game when there was a midweek, and there was a home run hit right into the lap of a Missouri State fan that was chirping, and the hog pen was just a freaking mess. And it was like the bottom of the seventh or something. At that point, I had a few beers already, so I looked at like my full beer cup, and I had one of three options. I could drink it as like a celebratory war cry. I could like pour it down my pants, or I could put it on my head. And that's why we don't have a podcast named Beers Down Pants Podcast. We have a podcast
I
called Beers on
like
Pants.
that better. You change it?
We can always change it. I would have to first put a beer down my pants. I don't know if I'm willing to do that tonight, but we can talk about this in the group chat.
No, that's hilarious, man. So it was Beers on Heads is what it's gonna be, and I know. Does it make you mad when you see that when the bases are loaded, people have the beers on heads, or is it more of like it makes it more universal, so people can take it both ways?
That's just like kind of a respect your elders type deal. They had that first. There's no relation between the two, so like I don't feel like my toes are stepped on. I mean, technically speaking, yes, there is, but like the idea itself, they're two completely different things. There's a beer on a head, and there's a beer on head.
Right.
And the one with the one with the emphasis is what we are.
So, dude, what I like about the Beers on Heads podcast is a lot of people probably don't understand it, and they're like looking at this like, what are you guys doing? For me, I think it encapsulates what we want to do, and that's Baum Stadium. That's the hog pen. Because for guys our age, I've always said this. Like the biggest party in Fayetteville is happening at Baum Stadium, whether it's a Friday or Saturday. You got everybody and their like best friends are all heading up, all making a little click. The beer is flowing, like it's an amazing time. And I don't think I missed the home game. Yeah, I don't think I missed the home game for the last 2 or 3 years that I was in college, and of course I've been covering for the last year and a half. And I mean, I definitely missed the hog pen. But what about you, Steve? Man, what do you think about when you think about Baum Stadium?
Well, first thing, I mean, it's the hog pen, and that's really truly. I've sat out in the general seating area before, and don't get me wrong, it's great. It's baseball, and you get to experience it in a way that you're sober. Otherwise,
yeah. Well said.
Otherwise, it's the hog pen, and I've looked for the last couple of years. I've looked into instead of buying seats in the regular area, you can buy season tickets out there in the hog pen. I mean, that's
the move. 100%.
That's a party that don't stop. That's a party that don't stop. Every home game you get.
So when you listen to this podcast, we want you to give you that feel that you're sitting there with your boys in the hog pen. I feel like that encapsulates what the SEC is all about, especially for people that are our age. So I guess every episode, it doesn't matter if you're drinking water or whatnot, but I feel like we're celebrating a little bit today. So everyone give a little drink check just for our first episode. Cheers, boys.
Cheers. What are we drinking today?
This has been fun, man. I'm really excited. What are you drinking today, buddy? It looks like
we got an Natter today. I was drinking Samuel Adams Porch Rockers, which is a seasonal, but the tracks were running fast today, so those went down quicker than anticipated.
That's hilarious. What's up? What about you, Sneed Feed?
Going with the old classic. This is my grandfather's beer, the original low carb beer, Miller Lite.
Your grandfather's beer. That's awesome, man. Unlike you, D-Gens, I've actually been, working all day. So this is my first beer of the day. Cracked it up.
That's
okay. All right. No, but what time did you crack open your first beer though?
Like 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. So a healthy 8:30.
Oh wait, no,
it's a Wednesday.
I actually had a beer.
So I had to. There you go, man. Exactly. D-Gen, 100%. So I got this like Breckenridge Brewery vanilla porter, but it's like a classic. I'm living with my parents right now during this whole quarantine Corona thing. So it's kind of like steal whatever beer your dad has. I have some hot Coors Light in my car that are not going to be consumed until they are cold again, because they're only good when the mountain's blue. So I've been kind of living that high school life, which is eat pasta, boxed pizza, and like steal beer from your dad, which is nice. So speaking of that, I was talking about the quarantine, the coronavirus life a little bit. Let's just get into that because it sucks. What do you guys miss about normal life? I'll start with you, Sneed.
Well, first off, I mean the obvious sports. It's like you can't just throw on a video game, throw on a anything like that. I mean, it's just not the same. You can run through some of those old sporting events that you haven't seen before that roll across ESPN or CBS Sports Network or whatever. But it's just you still don't know the outcome, but it doesn't give you that old time feeling. And that's the first one for me. The second one for me is being a social person, being around people, and not just not being around people, but not being able to go out, even if it's just a restaurant, and have a glass of wine and a nice meal and getting to sit down, whatever, sweet tea, Cabernet, whatever.
I think we're all social people, and I could tell Steve was struggling when I was over there Sunday. But man, JJ, you looked rough, buddy. How have you been coping with this whole thing?
Yeah, not well. There's really three big things. Number one is showering. Really miss showering.
You can still shower. That's so stupid.
It's not in the spirit. It's not in the spirit of things. Okay. Number two is shaving. That one's more on me. I have an electric razor because I'm not a real man. The
shower's on you too. You can still shower.
Number two, I'm not a real man, so I don't use a real razor. And I don't know where my charger is, so I've just been growing this baby out for a while. Number three.
Looks good.
Thanks. I miss getting rejected at bars. And when I say that, I don't mean like in an active sense of getting shut down at a bar. I miss the feeling of waking up on a Sunday morning and realizing that I didn't shoot any shots for like 5 hours. That makes me feel alive. That's what gets my blood bumping.
Dude,
I've shot my shot one time at a bar.
Let me ask you this. Like, do you miss the Sunday scaries?
I have Sunday scaries every day of my life, so I mean that's nothing.
But like the actual
I'm
Sunday
well prepared
scaries?
for the quarantine.
That's true.
It depends. There's been a few Sunday scaries. Like after the Kentucky game, I had a Sunday scary that lasted until Thursday, and then I was like, oh, this is just a mental breakdown.
Yeah. So that's more than a Sunday scary.
I don't really miss those too much.
Go ahead though. You had one more thing, man.
Oh, no, I was just expounding on my previous point. I've shot my shot at a bar one time in my life, and it was like 3 years ago, and I walked up to the right of this girl at Yeehog, and I asked her if she wanted a drink, and it was so loud, and her lips were moving, but I couldn't make out what she said. So it easily could have been yes, but it also could have been no. And I just took that as a no. And I turned around and I walked straight out of the bar and I left my friends. I texted my friends to tab me out. I'm done. Yes, Will.
The answer to that was absolutely yes. I've never heard that to be no. She might have said no later, but
no, dude. That was absolutely you did the yes. Right. You did the right thing by assuming she said no. Never assume she said yes. I don't know who you are, Steve. That's messed up and bad advice for the youth. That's JJ, true. You did the right thing. Continue on.
Thank you. And so that's kind of scarred me for 3 years, so I haven't really shot shots at bars since then.
Dude,
I'm much more of a guy.
I haven't really thought about this yet, but I just miss bars. I'm not talking about like Dixon on a Friday night or Saturday night where it's like packed. Just like a casual day at JJ's or just any bar that you can name. And just like the smell of it outside, it smells like cigs and just broken dreams. But that on a Saturday, like with the weather, especially with the weather is like the way it is right now, where it's starting to change. I mean, imagine being out in Baum Stadium, but then like, imagine being outside on a porch at some bar in Fayetteville where, you're just talking to your buddies like about the football game or the baseball game that apparently happened or anything else that goes on in life, because I'll talk to my parents every day and I'll talk to my buddies. We'll be text like, "What'd you do today?" Nothing. Every day. It's like every day is a new version of yesterday, and it really sucks. If there's anything else you want to add about the quarantine life, please do so now.
I miss fights by the food trucks. That's what got me going.
Dude, but
Right.
Imagine like a fight in the food truck after a football game. Like, you're gonna get all of that when it all hits. It's all gonna hit at once, like a freaking orgasm of sports are gonna all happen at once.
There's so much pent-up aggression.
Yeah, I know, and it's gonna be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, with that being said, we're gonna transition a little bit here to what normally would be our sponsorship segment. And I'll be honest, we've had some people hit us up for some sponsorships. We're just not good enough yet to get paperwork down and all that BS. Like, we're still struggling to get that down. Eventually it'll happen. But we did want to take some time out of the podcast, what would normally be our sponsorship segment, to support some of these charities, what's going on during the quarantine. So we're all based out of Fayetteville. Right now I'm in Batesville, but we're all based out of Fayetteville. Been there a long time. Love the city. That's something that I know. I don't even have to ask you guys about. I know you guys love Fayetteville. So we wanted to do something local. And the best way to do that, I think, is through GoFundMe. We've all been to Dick's, and we've all been to a great concert at George's. I know one of my favorites was Corey Smith recently. Favorite George's concert? Go.
Dial Up multiple times.
Dial Up is awesome. Dial Up is
for me too.
I love Dial Up 90s, man. They're a most underrated local band out there. So we've all had a good time. Got a little tipsy at George's. So in honor of that, there's a GoFundMe set up right now that the owner of George's set up. You go to GoFundMe.com/George039S. We'll tweet this out probably so you guys can make it easy on you. I'll just read it right quick. So with the coronavirus, then George's has obviously been shut down, I think, since March 13th. So it's got to be safe, and obviously everyone else is shutting down. So this fund, $4,095 raised right now. They have a $20,000 goal. This fund is going to go straight to the wait staff, the back of house kind of deal. Those guys are out of a job right now, and I think the guy said that he's going to try to pay them as much as he can out of pocket, but it would really help him out and keep George's alive if we can all just chip in a couple bucks to those guys that are unfortunately out of a job. So we'll probably do another charity next week, but let's try to get this guy's $20,000. I don't think it's impossible to do, and at the very least, tweet it out and spread the word, because those good folks need their money just about as we do.
And support local too. Support local.
Yes, absolutely. Support local. Our friends at JJ's are awesome.
I got Wendy's this afternoon. Yeah. I got Wendy's this afternoon. I felt like a horrible human being.
Yeah, you are horrible. Never don't go to Wendy's, man. There's so many better places that you could eat. Yeah, no, you did misunderstand. There's so many better places you could eat in the Fayetteville area or wherever you're at. Please support local. So that was a little sway from the deviation of what's going on, but I feel like that was important to add, and we're going to keep on doing this until this whole coronavirus thing is shut down, because people need their cash, brother. So let's go straight to this game, which I'm really nervous about. This is what happened.
Crash and burn.
JJ sent me this itinerary for the podcast, and I was looking over it. I thought it was pretty good. He had the sponsorship at the very front, which is a no-go. I don't like that, so I moved that back. That's the one thing I did. And I looked at the very end, and he had this thing called Mount Rushmore of SEC quarterbacks since 2000, and I puked a little bit in my mouth. I was like, "This is our first." I was like, "This is our first podcast ever. How
when like a
hell
dog
are
is like
you going
yakking
to
up
add
a
a
bone?
Mount Rushmore?" One. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Defend
like
yourself.
when like a dog's like yakking on a bone. That's how
Yeah.
I was acting when I was writing that, because I felt so disgusting, because it's been done on every single podcast that 3 white guys host. Literally around Mount Rushmore.
Dude, 100%.
So like I felt disgusting.
I got my.
But I called you
back, so I'm interested
cool
to see.
about it. I was like, so what we did is we workshopped a little bit. We did. I was like, JJ, we're not going to do a Mount Rushmore. I promise you, with until the day I die, I will never do a Mount Rushmore on this podcast. I'll do it for somebody else's show if they have me on, but I'll never do a Mount Rushmore for this podcast. We're better than that. So what we decided to do is make up our own game, and JJ came up with like the most complicated BS I've ever heard of. But I've been working on it. I've been trying to workshop his idea. And JJ, will you please explain a little bit of what's going on?
All right, so here's the basis of this. It's basically Tinder, but for quarterbacks. So what Pete is going to do is he's going to – yeah, so what Pete's going to do is he's going to say the name or the college that a quarterback went to. If neither Will nor I want to swipe right on him yet, it goes to the next thing in his bio.
I have 3 stats on bio.
So whoever says swipe right first gets that quarterback.
Right. So, and if neither of you guys swipe right, then or if you want to swipe left, then we're going to have to come back and circle around because both of you guys get 4. So be sure of that when I'm going for the first couple, that both of you guys get 4. So at the end, it'll probably make more sense. I got 8 quarterbacks. I went and did my research, even though full-time job here, still putting on for the pod. It didn't take that long, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, all right. If you like it, say swipe right. If you don't want it, say swipe left. And then I'll put your name beside this guy, and then we'll go for that. All right. So this first quarterback, these are quarterbacks since 2000, correct? And let me just clarify before people get mad at me. I didn't pick the best 8 quarterbacks because if I did, that would probably be too easy. These guys are kind of random. There's some superstars in there. No real duds. I mean, duds are just too easy to swipe left on. So, some average SEC quarterbacks. But we're going to see what you guys end up with at the end. This first guy is from Texas A&M. All right. And actually, by the way, before I say this, I'm doing individual years. So you're going to get like the 2003 version of this cat. I thought it'd be easier. And so, some people went to college for 3 years, some went through 2 years. So the stats kind of equal out when you do just 1 year. It's their best year. So this guy, Texas A&M, in 1 year, threw for 4,114 passing yards.
Swipe right.
All right, that's Sneed's got this guy.
You can have that. That's probably Tannehill.
By the way, JJ, that's the most passing yards out of all these guys on this list, so I don't know why you were impressed.
Son of a...
All right, number 2. This guy went to Florida. 2,942 passing yards, 23 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns. Nobody's going to back. Nobody's going to back.
Swipe left. I don't want him. All
right, we'll circle back to this guy. All right, this is the third cat. Mississippi State University.
Swipe right.
Swipe right. JJ's got that cat. All right.
Please be tagged. There's no one else behind that.
All right. This number 4 went to Tennessee. 2,946 passing yards this year. 27 touchdowns, 12 INTs, 12 rushing touchdowns.
Give me that. Yeah, swipe right.
Oh, dang it. I know who that is.
JJ's got number 4. All right. Number 5. This cat went to Alabama. 2,846 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 5 rushing touchdowns.
You know what? I'm going to swipe right on that.
You're going to swipe right on that trash? All right, dude.
If that's Brody Croyle, I'm going to be so mad because I really want Brody Croyle on my team.
No. I mean, I'd say not a terrible quarterback. But so we got Sneed has 2 and JJ has 2. And you guys refuse to swipe right on the second guy. So we'll move to the 6th guy. This guy went to Arkansas. This particular season,
right. I don't want the other guy. Swipe right.
Okay. JJ swipes right on this guy. All right.
That's called gamesmanship, Willie. Look it up.
I saw that. So JJ, you got 3, and there's 2 guys left. Sneed, you have 2, and there's 2 guys left. So both of you guys have a swipe right left to go if you want it. This guy went to Auburn. This particular season, he had 2,854 passing yards.
Swipe right.
Swipe right.
Okay, Sneed got you beat, GJ.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He absolutely. Am I correct? Hey,
I think so.
Justin, are you listening? This is our producer, Justin. Shouts out, Justin.
Yeah, I got you.
Is Sneed got that one right?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, so this last guy, Sneed is actually. Wait a second. No, you both have one more, so you can either go back to the second guy or pick this last dude. All right. So let me go back to the second one right quick. See if you want this. All right. Florida, 2,942 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns. All right. Now here's number 8. He went to Georgia.
Swipe right.
3,400. Okay.
All right, I'll take
Smart move.
Guy.
All right. So I think we have our teams. All right.
Okay,
Here's what I'm going to do before we do this. Let's try to guess who this is, all right? So
Okay.
I'm going to write this down while we go. First guy, A&M, 4,114 passing yards. Who is it?
Menzel.
That's Johnny Football. Sneed got Johnny Football. Yeah, that's tough, man. You should have known that one. All right.
Yeah.
Number 2, Florida. JJ, 2,942 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 3 rushing touchdowns. Who'd you get?
Rex Grossman?
No. Well,
Close. You got Chris Leak.
Same era. Okay, I like Chris Leak.
All right, yeah. It's a little sandwich between Tim Tebow. Won the 2007 national championship, so I can't go wrong there. All right, here's your third guy that you got, or second guy that you got, third guy on the list for you, JJ. Went to Mississippi State, 2,423 passing yards, 21 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 16 rushing touchdowns.
Ooh.
Who'd you get?
Is that Dak?
You got Nick Fitzgerald, son.
I knew it was Nick.
That's fine.
That's not bad, though, but
I can live with that.
You'd rather have Dak than Nick Fitzgerald, no matter what the stats say. So.
I opened up the box, and instead of like a PlayStation, it was like, I don't know, a gift card.
Yeah, I mean, you got something good. You didn't lose.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm not complaining.
This is also you, JJ. You got 3 in a row here. Went to Tennessee, 2,946 passing yards, 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 12 rushing touchdowns. Who'd you get?
Is that Jarek Guantanamo?
No, you got. Let me go back. All right. So first of all, Steve, you got the 2013 version of Johnny Football. You got the 2006 Chris Leak, the 2016 Nick Fitzgerald, and then you got the 2016 Josh Dobbs also.
Josh Dobbs.
So you got the 2016 Josh Dobbs. All right, that's 3 for you, JJ. It's not too great. But here's where it gets fun. This one's bad.
Bad at this game.
Right.
For someone that came up with this game, I'm really pretty freaking bad at it.
It's tough, man. It's tough. All right, so this one's probably your worst one, Sneed. He went to Alabama, 3 for 2,000.
McElroy.
Who do you got? Who do you think it is?
McElroy.
No, you got John Parker Wilson. Oof.
Oh, I think that's better.
Dude, that's probably the worst one,
right?
I literally thought to myself, who was the most mediocre quarterback besides people from Arkansas? Who was the most mediocre quarterback since the 2000s? John Parker Wilson's probably the most mediocre. So that's who you got. Not too bad because the next 2 guys are pretty good. So JJ, this is your last pick. He went to Arkansas. I gave the stats already. 3,869 passing yards, 64.7% completion rate, 32 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Who'd you get?
It's one of 2 people. Is that Tyler?
Mallett.
Is it Mallett? Okay, that was the other one.
2010 version of Ryan Mallett. So I think he was definitely one of the best seasons in the SEC of this since 2000. Not the best. Obviously, you got Tim Tebow, Peyton Manning, and then this next guy went to Auburn, 2,854 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Who'd you get, Sneed? 20 rushing touchdowns. Didn't even get to
that's Cam. That's either Cam or Nick. Wait, is it Nick?
You got Cam, dude. Nick would never throw for 30 touchdowns.
He wins. He wins.
All right, and then this last guy went to Georgia, basically 3,500 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 61.4% completion rate. Who'd you get?
Aaron Murray.
You got Matt Stafford, man.
Oh, really?
So, all right, don't say anything. I know you already said it.
He just ran the freaking table on me.
Dude, you got any adjective or verb you want to put in there. You got that, JJ, because Sneed wins this by Iowa. Johnny Football. Okay, 2013 Johnny Football. Just let me go through it. I just want to rub this in. Will got the 2013 Johnny Football, the 2007 John Parker Wilson, the 2010 Cam Newton, and the 2008 Matt Stafford. JJ got 2006 Chris Leak, 2016 Nick Fitzgerald, 2016 Josh Dobbs, and 2010 Ryan Mallett. I love this game.
Honest to God, the only one that I would trade you for is maybe John Parker Wilson for Chris Lake.
Well, no, John Parker Wilson.
No, sorry, for Josh Dobbs.
But there's no trading.
So like a big man.
I know. I'm just saying.
So when we do this game next week, I'm definitely hosting. I love hosting this. I would never want to play this game. But so I'm just gonna go ahead and say.
Will you sleep at the night?
How do you feel about yourself?
Sorry, what was that?
How do you feel about yourself?
Yeah, can you sleep?
Oh, I feel like a winner. I feel like a champion.
Question.
So I'm going to give that 1 point to Sneed. I don't know if that was tough to follow or not, but hopefully you guys followed along and had fun.
That went a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah, no, I had fun doing it. I hope people had fun listening.
All right, it is mailbag time. This is where I tweet out for y'all to send me questions, and y'all do exactly that. So I'm just gonna go through these because y'all actually exceeded my expectations here. I was expecting either not a lot of questions or some very bad questions. And honestly, I think there's a good mix of all of it. So we'll start with Sean W. He said, "Do you think our pitching staff could have brought us to the College World Series Finals without an ace like Knight or Zay, and without a shutout closer like Cronin?"
So Willie? Obviously, well, before Willie takes that, he's talking about Arkansas, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Willie, go ahead.
Personally, the College World Series Finals.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of got caught up on that.
Yeah, the finals. No, I think that it was a 60, 65, 70% chance of getting to Omaha in general. The finals, you have got to have a team like that. What was it, 2016? Was that the? No, it was 2017. Thank you. Sorry. You've got to have a team like that 2017 team that's just got everything in the bag. They've got pitching, they've got fielding, they've got hitting. I think that this was probably an Omaha team, but I don't think that this was a College World Series final team.
So for me, I don't think this Arkansas team was going to even be an Omaha team. And I just look at their schedule and the competition they face. They really struggled going down to Houston. And I know there's been years when they came back from that. But just that third pitcher was always going to be a mystery. I know Caleb Bolden was coming along. Patrick Wicklander I know Wick's your buddy, JJ, but I know Wicklander was having some real big struggles. I think maybe this is actually going to help him.
He was going to turn around. He's a loyal listener. So watch your words.
He's a loyal listener. And so Wicklander wasn't having his best stuff. I think Nolan, I don't think he was the problem. That's the question, right? Can you make it to the College World Series Finals without an ace? I think Nolan was a real ace. I thought he was going to turn it around and honestly be a heck of a pitcher for Arkansas. And I think he still will be. But that being said, like Will said, you need everything going on. Kerstad couldn't carry this team single-handedly, although it felt like he would sometimes. Christian Franklin was stepping it up. A lot of people were stepping up, but it just wasn't what Dave Van Horn expected this team to be. Because when he said before the season, what he said was, "This is the best team I've ever had," and he kept on saying that. Then he kind of backed off of it after the first non-conference schedule. So I don't know if this was an Omaha team even. That's my answer.
I mean, I lean toward Will on that. I think one of the biggest reasons I lean toward Will is it's the most frustrating thing. Casey Martin was there, right before the season cut off. Casey Martin was there. He was laying off that off-speed bullshit down and away. He was staying back. He was pulling everything up the middle. He was spraying the ball like Casey Martin does. If we get that Casey Martin and we have Hessen hitting like that, I mean, that's a team that scores 6-7 runs a game, and you're going to win 2 out of 3 games scoring that.
Well, in case sorry, go ahead.
No, you got it.
Oh, I was just going to say, Casey shored himself up on defense too there at the end. Before the season got cut short, which was
absolutely
a big key in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And then as far as pitching, I think Zeb was going to be a shutdown closer. I really do. I thought he was going to be the next in line. I mean, the kid throws harder than Crescent does.
Zeb was awesome.
Yeah. And then I thought we have a ton of arms in that bullpen where if you get to that Omaha stage, and I think we have a lot of quality, and they're freshmen. So, like, yeah, maybe they do fold under pressure. But, like, those younger freshman, sophomore guys, man, I mean, we have 6-7 guys that go out there and throw 96 plus.
I'm not going to
can't, substitute that.
I'm not going to say this to get the last word, but I know a lot of people said they had a lot of arms in the bullpen. They did. They had a lot of young arms. I think you needed Kevin Kopps and Cole Rams to pitch better than they were pitching. It did not look like they were going to turn it around. You needed those two guys to be really, like, good bridge gap guys, and they weren't going to be that. And when you went to the bullpen, especially in these long series where everyone's tired, you got to have somebody that can give you at least 4 or 5 innings, or 3 or 4 even. I don't think there was a guy in there that could give you 3 innings. You didn't have that. Good team, not an Omaha team. Next question.
There was not a Lowski or a Koski shock.
No, there was not.
Great.
Or Scroggins.
I will say that Wick, I love you. Do not listen to what they say. I thought you were just about to turn the corner. So
I never said anything about
question.
that.
Wick is super talented.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
think he's super talented. He's
Strictly
going to
Web
be next season.
I thought we're going golfing next week. Question number 2. This is probably for more Pete and maybe myself. Why did Peter ruin his life when he could have spent the rest of it with Madison? That's from Ty Richardson.
That's not. He's talking about Pilot Pete, man. JJ.
No.
He's talking about Bachelor. Bachelor Pete.
No, I know he is.
Funny,
That's
my first
like,
girlfriend's
you and
name
I
was
watched
Madison.
The Bachelor.
Okay,
you and I watched
so
The Bachelor. Bill did not.
the answer to that question is, if you don't watch The Bachelor, he had a terrible mother named Barb, and Barb was she was Fiona from Shrek, and she was the worst person that's ever existed. And Madison was an angel. I agree. If it was up to me and I had that kind of pull, I would definitely go after a girl with Madison with high standards, obviously beautiful, definitely the best of the bunch when you take into account like his top 5. I think the reason it didn't work out is because his mom is a crazy person.
I think it's more. I think Pete realized that he's not worth her at all. I think he got freaked out.
So.
I think he went into his little shell. Yeah, no, I think he just kind of pansies his way out of that.
Not a Bachelor guy.
Yeah, sorry, Will, but we had to talk about that real quick.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's Ty Richardson though. What's up, buddy?
Yeah. This one comes from Drake. How many dates / how long into the relationship until you can drop a deuce at her house?
Sneed.
I think it's, man, that's a tough question. I think it depends. I think it depends on what kind of a deucer you are. I mean, if you're silent and quick and not smelly, then you can do it wherever you want to do it. But for me personally, be a while.
I think the correct number is 3. If the girl's cool and you like her, you've hung out with her 3 times already, then you could take a deuce. Clean it up a little bit, bring some like Febreze if she has some, light a candle, be a gentleman about it. But I think 3 is the correct answer.
So I'm more of a guy where I hold it until 4 a.m. and I set an alarm on my phone. And at 4 a.m. I wake up and I
She'll
go.
Never know.
Yeah, she'll never know. You have a good solid 3 hours until she wakes up. The smell's gonna be long gone by then, whether if you have the fan on or not. So
not everyone
as
can
long
hold
as
it
you're not
though.
like absolutely. I just said, God, maybe I have that God-given ability. I don't know, but like unless you're screaming bloody murder in the bathroom, she's not gonna wake up. So why not just go boom, first date, 4 a.m., poop in her bathroom? That's my answer.
Well, maybe you can wait till the second date. First date though, you're gonna try that crap out?
Yeah,
probably.
Oh well, JJ's a freak, man.
Let's see here. I will most likely never be able to see Kerstead in a Razorback jersey again. How do I move on with my life?
It's tough, man, because there's a lot of question marks. First of all, we talked about it. Could this have been an Omaha team? I don't know. Kerstad was so good that he might have been able to win you some of those tough games. It's tough because there's so many question marks surrounding his career. Could he have been the home run leader for the University of Arkansas. Very likely the pace that he was on. I don't think that there's a better home run hitter that I've ever seen in the college game that can hit balls to every side of the field. Do you guys remember when he basically hit foghorns? I don't know which game it was, but it's tough to swallow, man. It's going to be that way for a really long time. This whole season can be interesting, though, because you're going to be able to tell your buddies and your friends down at A&M or your friends in Starksville, Mississippi, that, hey, we could have won this year. What could have been. So I think it's an interesting little thing that's going to be a tick for years to come. An asterisk, if you will.
My answer to that is just the same way that I get through all of depression, questions, and sadness. Continue to drink.
There you go. I think he worded that question poorly. It sounds like he's like still waiting like an ex to like call him back. So it's not that you will most likely never will be able to see Kerstad. You will never see Kerstad in a Razorback jersey again. I just want to clear that up.
It's sad. It sucks.
It is. No, it's tough to deal with, but you just kind of have to face reality at this point. There's one more. This one actually I think was more geared toward myself. I want to break down the madness that was the Barstool best bar straight from the horse's mouth. So that was actually way more of a grind than even I anticipated. This is my second year doing it. The first one was pretty easy, and I didn't really put a whole lot of like effort into it, and we still got to the Sweet 16. This time around, it was no holds barred, man. When I was tweeting at 3 a.m., that wasn't a bot. I was literally up at 3 a.m. tweeting like multiple times a week. And the kid that runs Barstool now, I won't say his name because I think it's against the rules, but so I would give him the ideas and like the vision, and he would throw together those videos. So I think he's gonna do great at Barstool Arkansas, and B, like we had the perfect team this year. I was just up tweeting from 7 a.m. to 3 a.m. and he was putting together these videos, and it just kind of worked out. We honestly almost pulled off the comeback against Kansas. We were down at one point by like 2,000 votes. We ended up losing by like 400. So that last day push was something real. But no, Final Four, I'm happy with that. I'm happy I was able to go out like that. And you know, it's a good way to hang your jersey in the rafters.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, it's like one of those, I don't know, Jeter moments where he hits a walk-off single, and that's like his career. Last one, specifically for Will. What's with all the dudes in Fayetteville wearing khaki Daisy Dukes?
So the only thing that I got to say to that is, you know.
Yeah, show those bad boys.
No.
So he's wearing them right now.
Absolutely. Nothing wrong.
Yeah, for those on like Spotify and Apple Music, the man has khaki shorts well above his knees, which I'm not gonna lie, like when I wear shorts, I'm going well above the knee. I'm going a solid like 5 to 6 inches above the knee. Always.
Absolutely. Same, but is that what he's talking about, or is he talking about like cutoff khakis?
I think he's talking about the shorter khakis.
I think he is.
Okay, so what's he wearing? Cargos? Is there something
I guess so.
What?
Yeah, no. So like that seems like a him problem.
The question was, is there something wrong with Cargos? I mean, look, I don't want to go against the guy. I mean, everybody's personal taste is their own taste, but you know, sometimes I'm standing outside, I'm whatever, and I just want to get a nice tan and not have a horrible tan line. So
I bullied my dad for 3 years into finally ditching cargos mercilessly, and he finally did. So no, I take a strong stand where like if it's khaki shorts, you're gonna go like 5 inches above the knee.
My dad doesn't wear cargos anymore, and like he has lost 10 years off of his life. Looks amazing. So happy for him, man. He's got these nice legs. He bikes every day. You guys got anything else, or do you want to go ahead and wrap this one up?
Let's go ahead and wrap it up, man.
So what we're going to try to do here is we're going to try to get this. Our wonderful producer, Justin, is going to help us out as much as possible. We're going to try to get this up on all platforms. So whether it's Spotify, I don't know what Android users use, iHeartRadio or something. We're going to try to get it on that. And, of course, iTunes. And then try to get this video up on YouTube, which I think is probably the best way to watch it. Fortunately, the first episode, we couldn't all be together. But there's no better time to do it than during quarantine. I thought it went great. I appreciate you boys. We'll be back next week. Hopefully you guys like the game. And give us 5 stars. And it's not like one of those things where, you go to Joe Rogan's podcast and you give him 5 stars, or your favorite Pardon My Take episode. This is big for us because we're just starting out. So please, if you like it, subscribe, give us 5 stars, and I promise you the audio is going to be better eventually. All this stuff's going to work itself out, but we just had to get this out there, and it's been awesome.
Let's go.
Cheers.
Let's go. Cheers.
Beer on ahead.
Cheers.
Hey, let's go.